hope that you guys are good. I am Msomi, back again. I hope that you guys are doing fantastic. Or how I rather should say is, Togozani. I hope that you guys are good. I hope that you guys are fantastic. So this vlog came about because I've been asked like all the time. I think I'm always being asked about my journey. I'm always being asked certain questions, and people seem to want to know certain things about how I'm a traditional healer, how I'm homosexual, how I'm a church leader. I don't know how those things mix, but I want to believe that I will do my best to answer those questions. So right before we continue, guys, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends to tell their friends that I'm back. And today we're talking me as being a traditional healer. Any questions that you guys have sent through to me, I'm going to answer. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the questions first. I feel that the questions will then, bring on the next conversation. Do apologize because I know I don't normally sound like this, but I had a very interesting ancestral awakening today. So therefore, I am of somebody else today. I hope that makes sense. So normally when my spirits come and visit, I will embody that specific spirit for quite some time. So today, that is the case. Before we continue, guys, so Ngatwasa a few years ago, close to probably like a decade plus, and it was an interesting journey. And I say interesting because it was something I had never done, something I had never seen, especially like too close to me. And obviously I took the decision because it was time. I always believe, and something I say to my students now, that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Same thing that happened to my teacher. When it was time for me to actually go on my journey, she appeared, and she showed herself to me, and that's how I got to my actual journey, right? Wonderful, wonderful, humble lady. I will always be grateful for the teacher who taught me. Therefore, I want to believe that I need to be a good teacher to others as well. So, before we start, right, let's do the first question, because as I said to you guys, I received a couple of questions and I'm going to answer them as best as I can and as honest as I can, right? So, the first question is, how come you have several guides and not one? Right, so I have several guides because as people, as clans or as our ancestors, guys, we're not the same. So when I was in training, I had all these 7 people pop up, and they each came with a different gift. So each spirit came to me and showed me that I am your spirit of light, and this is what you will use me for. I had a spirit who came to say, I'm the spirit of water, and this is what you'll use me for. So that's the reason why I have so many. Again, also, it's been a while, especially within my family, where they answer to the calling. So unfortunately, some of the friends, they came to visit me, and then I had to take or embody the most of them. And hence the reason why I have so many. You do meet people who only have 2 or 3 ancestors pop up when they're still in training. But remember that as a band was fun, so we can't take you can't take my experience and feel ukuthi wena most especially when you're going to experience the same thing, because you're not. We don't experience the same things. We don't go through the same feeling and right. So I always say to people, follow your heart and follow your ancestors. As a teacher, I'm there to guide you through certain phases, through a certain extent. Majority of the things that happen in your life are according to you, and these are the things that you should follow. And I still hope that people actually do that. I did. The next question is, did all of them come at the same time, and how did it go? Right, so to answer that, my guides did not come. There was a day where I was introduced to 3 of them on the same day, if I'm not mistaken. But they didn't come all at the same time, because I think if they did, they would probably really, really weigh me out. And right now, as you guys can understand how I sound, I'd probably even sound far more confused. But no. So they didn't come at the same time. This one popped up today, and then a month later, another one popped up. So they kind of took their own time to pop up, and for me to meet them, one by one, and know the difference between this ancestor and the next ancestor. So while I talk to you guys, Please remember again to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends to tell their friends that I'm here. And today we're talking about me as a traditional healer. I am answering questions that you guys have sent through to me, and basically answering anything else. And also I'm having a tea coffee break in between because it's so cold. I know. I've got the cup of the year. So basically, I'll continue answering you guys' questions. I'll have tea in between because, wow, my throat. All right, so I think this is a question that is asked by a lot of people, and a lot of people always ask this question, but I will answer it as best as I can. How did you know you had a calling, and how did it impact your entire life and your journey? How did I know? Shoot, I even remember. um, I was, I was young actually. Sure. Um, so I would hear the drum, literally, not figurative, like, you know, literally when you hear the drum beat and nobody else can hear it and you think you're crazy. Like, I want to believe, before I say this, guys, and I want to use and give this a disclaimer, please understand that everything that I'm sharing with you today is of personal experience. It is not of other people's experiences. Our experiences are not the same. Some people do not experience the same things that I would have experienced, and we all have different views in terms of being a traditional healer and what you've seen, what you've heard. Some people may have never experienced waking up and finding a snake on your floor, you know, and this is figuratively, but I would have dreams of animals. Literally, I would have dreams of animals, not understanding that in the beginning they were my spiritual guides. I would sit in a room with leopards and tigers and lions, and I would wake up and I'd be like, what's going on? You know, like, why am I here? And why am I seeing things in my sleep? You know? And you know, when you wake up and realize it's a dream, you're like, oh, okay, phew. You know, go back to sleep. Then you sleep again. And the next thing you wake up in the middle of the ocean and you're like, okay. So I had a lot of various things that popped up while I was growing up. But because I knew that this day would come, I may have not known when, you know, like exactly, up until the time it was time for me to go. You know, the drum told me, now you need to, you know, go hear the drum. So I had a whole lot of things. Did it impact my life? Once you accept your calling, you need to understand that your life will stop for that specific period of time, and then your life will be able to, you know, continue for however long. So I won't say it stopped. I think the one thing I'm grateful for, to be honest, is that Minamang Twasa, I was young. So I never had to, I was not able to turn up, you know, all those things. And not because it mattered to me. I know I'm a people's person, for those who know me, but I was thankful that it never put me in a predicament where I couldn't go party, I couldn't hang out with my friends. Like, all those things at that point didn't matter to me because I was answering my calling. So I told myself that when I was done, you know, I would go back and fetch those beers there that I left in the fridge. And that's exactly what I did. You know, my life did continue. It has continued. I mean, people always ask me, oh my gosh, you're a traditional healer, you've got so many tattoos. And I'm like, why am I supposed to live in ancient times? Guys, we're not the same. And I always say to people, please do not follow Hlavati because you want to do something that Hlavati has done and assume it's going to work for you. Our ancestors are not the same. My ancestors understood when I spoke to them, when I prayed and had conversations with them, that I'm a homosexual. I love tattoos, guys. You guys took me when I was very young. So please allow me to live my life. Yes, I've answered the calling and I will continue helping people, which is what I do effortlessly. I love what I do. But there was some form of a negotiation. Not all of us can negotiate, guys. Not every person after twice I can wear pants like I do. Me, I wear pants. I don't want skirt. I don't care. I don't want to know. You get the point. So I always say to people, follow what your ancestors want you to follow and have conversations with them. Your ancestors are not deaf, guys. You know, they hear you. You can have proper conversations with them. You can ask them for things. You can negotiate things and they will hear you. There's no such thing, I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yet you feel that you can't negotiate. There's no such. And I'm saying this because I'm living proof. So, next question is, how has the support been from your family and friends? So, the support I've received, guys, has been phenomenal. I have a supportive family who was there for me, you know, throughout, who was supportive of me when I went into training. I have friends. I've lost a lot of friends, guys. And I always say this to people. Being a gifted person, you will lose abangan. You will lose friends because you actually will lose the wrong friends because we are born. And it's just one of those things where you kind of just have to make peace with it, you know. As painful as it sounds, like, make peace with it. How did you know you were getting attention from your guides? Very important question. So, as crazy as this is going to sound, guys, I have a round table discussion with my ancestors, literally. So when I need them, I summon them. Light my candles, you know, burn my incense in purple. And I call them. And I'll be like, okay, Bona, my guy, you know, come here, let's talk. The same applies. If they need something from me, which I know is so crazy because I'm a type of person who can fall asleep random in 2 minutes flat during the day when I wasn't even tired. You know, sometimes I'll be like, why don't you all just ask me properly? I can't just poof into a meeting, you know, without a request. So I think that's the funniest part because that always happens and I'm like, guys, no warning, Nyana. Like, I was in a taxi, you know. But why couldn't you warn me that I was going to just, you know, die there for 2 minutes? But in most cases, I thankfully say my ancestors always come in a safe space, in a space where I'm ready for them to be able to communicate with me, even though I could be visiting your house and I fall asleep and you're like, how shabat? You know, it's strange, but it does happen. But I know that they're there and they listen to me because we have an open, you know, type of platform communication, and which works wonders for me. So, yeah. All right, so that is our, you know, question part number 1. Thank you so much to Kanya for those questions. I hope that I was able to answer you. I was able to give you, you know, some sort of answers towards your questions. If you do feel I have not answered them properly, Bona, come back to me. Let's have a conversation, maybe on a personal level if you feel need be. If not, I will be bringing back part 2. So just before we continue, once again, please remember to like, share, subscribe, you know, comment below, send any of your questions that you guys may have, and just let me know, basically. So whatever that you guys want to know, just ask me and, you know, we'll have a conversation about it. One moment. These questions are hot, Pella, you know, I need to make sure I'm fully hydrated for these questions. So, next question says, how do you deal with the expectations of how a healer is to be and actually living your truth and being true to who you are? So, people have this notion, right? The notion of what a traditional healer is supposed to look like, what a traditional healer should do, what a traditional healer should wear, what a traditional healer to... Like, I don't understand why people do that. First of all, these are my ancestors. Right? I should be able to handle them the best way I handle them, and I should be able to handle myself respectfully. And I always say this to people, it was elam, you know. So don't come here with your foot nonsense and, you know, like I don't get why people do that. Like, I don't understand. People always have expectations with things that do not concern them. Stay in your lane. Like, I was saying, shut up. Don't come tell me, hey, this is how traditional healers are supposed to act. Bona, please, cool down. Like, no, but rest. Because people should not do that. If you have not been on the journey, you have no right to tell me based on, I don't know what information, on how traditional healers should be or how should they eat. Like, hey, I live my truth. I am a very happy homosexual sangama, you know? Like, I always say to people that you came to me for healing, you didn't come to me about my sexuality. So what I do in my personal life is none of your business. The guides I go with are completely happy with who I am. Again, on that topic, I have met people who feel they want to comment on my personal life, right? Once upon a time, very funny story. I was at my Kobela's place. There was umgidi lapho, and this gogo comes to me and says, "Oh, yazi, amadlozi wakho abathandi lento yakho ukuthi uzwana nabantu besifazane." Ngathi, "Whoa, rubbish." So my ancestors jumped from me, bayeqela, batshela wena ukuthi they have an issue with who I am. So actually, if they have an issue, how did I get the person I'm with? Because that person was sent, first of all, when? Guys, do not infringe your beliefs on other people. I do not infringe my beliefs of being homosexual to somebody who is straight, and I appreciate it. not to be done unto me. If you have a problem, stay in your lane, because my guides are completely comfortable with who I am. My God is completely comfortable with him. I was made in his image. So don't come here with your foot nonsense and come telling me, hey, abo gogo bati. Who's gogos? So they just jumped. They couldn't tell me, the person, Uti, by the way, we don't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys, like, I still say it, guys, and with the utmost respect, it's rubbish and people should not do it. People are being degraded because of that. People start feeling crappy because of that, because when you go over hi guys, like, whoa. Anyway, wow. Okay. Next question is, who are you as to what society perceives you as, or what do they expect you to be as a healer in your lifestyle? So very similar. I'm going to answer one question, right, of this, because I've just actually answered it. I am Hlabat. I am a homosexual. I'm a traditional healer. I'm a church leader at Monjo Methodist. I teach the youth confirmation classes, as well as the youth. That's who I am. People will always come and be judgmental, right? They'll always have their opinions and God said this, and I've heard the God said conversations, but God also did say, thou shalt not judge. It is not your place to judge people. If you feel I'm going to see the doors of hell open up, it's okay. It will be me and my Father when that day comes. So before that day comes, bona, rest. Anyway, I hope that you guys are enjoying our talk. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. If you guys have anything that you want to ask me that just pops up out of your mind, let me know. And I am willing to answer. Right. I was actually waiting for this question. So the question is, when you're involved with someone, are you able to see things that they get up to or things that they do? Yes. So I always say to people, I want to share a personal experience, but I'm not quite sure if that's gonna work. So once upon a time, I dated this woman, right? And she like fede, and she jolted me. Woke up one random day and I looked at her and I was like, baby. She's like, ubani umbali? Kumbali, hayi, mina numbali. You know, abantu laba bakubhalela u8 ngenyawo type of thing. Guys, and I ask this out of the sincerity of my heart. Please do not, ngiyabona other traditional healers, please don't come date me and waste my time. By the time I ask you, who is Mbali? I know Mbali's social security number, ID number, address, matric certificate, qualifications, their sister, their last born. I know what they ate last night. By the way, I don't want people always think, Uti, if you do something we don't know. Guys, trust you me, it will come because my guides come to me. And it's just because I'm buzanga doesn't mean I don't know. And I always say to a person, don't wait for me to ask you. Like, the worst thing you can ever do to yourself, especially if you're involved with a person like me, please don't wait for me to ask you, because I don't want to ask you, you know. It's later when. Because if you come and tell me before I ask you, the redemption is easier, you know. I have a higher probability of forgiving you because you came and told me the truth. I didn't ask you. The moment or the moment I ask you a question and I still give you the opportunity to tell me the truth and you don't, bye-bye. Please, let's not waste each other's time. Like, I don't have time. If you can lie to me about something that I've seen, I mean, hello, ngiyabona, then what more else could you lie to me about? And I say this to people all the time. They'll lie to you, be like, yeah, I mean, I'm born next, guys. Like, dating a traditional healer, we see your things. Hello. How can we see ndaba zabantu mara lo usiceleni ungamboni? I mean, guys, we see these things, you know, like effortlessly. So, I have a question that says, is there a specific way to burn impepo or a specific order when uphahla? It's unfortunate that I actually don't have impepo next to me because I would have shown you guys. But I want to believe, Uguti, there's not a specific way to burn incense. Impepo is burnt according to the way okhuliswe ngayo. That's my personal view. Yes, I can show you obviously that you hold it and then we light the lana and this will show. It mustn't burn or be on fire. There's always tell people that and it smokes properly. It doesn't vo and then burn, out of the blue. Also, in terms of opahla, I always say there is a generic that people are able to use, Unfortunately, I don't know, generic for me is probably a lack of a better word, but I do phahla in a specific way. I first call my God and I ask God to bring the descendants down of my ancestors so that we can have a conversation. So I do use 7 colors. Sorry, I'm just looking at the floor. I use 7 colors, 8 colors of candles, majority of the time. They do change. Sometimes I have to pray with all of them. So that's why Phahla kwethu will not be the same because our guides are not the same. Our cultures, between Sotho, Tswana, Xhosa, Pedi, they're not the same. So I always do say to people, ask your parents, to guide you and show you. Otherwise, yes, if you guys have never done that and you have the urge to phahla, then no problem. We'll give you the guides. Thank you so much for the questions, because I know that last question was from Lerato. We had a question from Vuyelwa. And we also had a question from Mosichaba, who actually happens to be one of my kids. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for the questions. If you guys do have anything else that you want to know, just comment below. Let me know. I know guys have been asking me to do like dream interpretations, to do candle things as well. And not because they're not on social media, guys. These things are there. But you also need to be vigilant and be very careful of the things that you guys see. And ask. I always say there is no wrong question or wrong answer, especially when it comes to traditional healing. So whenever you guys have a question, comment below, send me an inbox, pop me hello, and I'll be able to answer you guys. But thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys when I come back.